host to enter tonight's doubleheader.
If Lee Timmerman's career was a highlight reel, it might look something like this. 4-time National Sports Media Association Sportscaster of the Year. 5-time North Dakota Broadcasters Association Sportscaster of the Year. Award of Merit from the North Dakota High School Coaches Association. 21 Eric Severide Awards. National Broadcast Story of the Year from the National Sportscasters and Sports Writers Association.
The most nervous I've ever been in my entire life, having to give a speech at the National Sportscasters and Sports Writers Convention in front of everybody.
And the most recent highlight, being inducted into the North Dakota Associated Press Sportscasters and Sports Writers Hall of Fame.
To be able to follow John Cole from our organization in there, Raj Higgins from KFYR TV in there, that was pretty neat. I mean, it's the mountaintop.
To understand his climb to that mountaintop and to the top of his game, we must look back at where it all started.
And I'm 61 years old, and I still, if somebody will say, I still define myself, I'm a farm kid from T, South Dakota.
As a farm kid, Lee's life revolved around hard work and sports. He played every sport he could. Football and baseball were his favorites. LT even tried his hand at some college ball. He never dreamed he'd end up making sports his career.
I went to college without a plan.
His first full-time broadcasting job was at KNUJ Radio in New Ulm, Minnesota. From there, he moved into television, closer to home in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And in 1989, Lee and his wife Amber made the move north.
We've really found a gem with Lee Timmerman.
Dick Height was news director back then and hired LT. What impressed him then still does today.
He does his homework.
That's a sentiment echoed by everyone who's ever crossed paths with Lee Timmerman. That includes fellow sportscasters Scott Peters, Dan Hammer, Brian Shawn, and John Cole. They worked together for years, providing statewide coverage of high school tournaments and NDSU Bison football.
He's always prepared, and it's very difficult to name a sport that he can't do. Play-by-play of basketball, play-by-play of football, play-by-play of auto racing, bowling, the KFYR Classic. There's not many things that he can't do.
I think LT would be the first to tell you he was a big-time planner. He likes to have everything organized well in advance. Probably shows up to work earlier than he needs to, probably stays later than he needs to, but that's always kind of been his mantra, is how he goes about his business.
He had so many notes, and it played a big part of what we did throughout the tournament to give people some insight, not only into the teams, but the players themselves and you know, what they were like off the court too.
LT's still got most of those notes. He's got piles and piles of folders, handwritten notes, all color-coded. He's got every note he ever jotted down in 14 years of NDSU Bison football coverage.
His passion for that was something that really made an impact on me, you know, and just his passion to be good at his job.
LT not only wanted to be the best at his job, but he wanted everyone on his team to excel too.
I think I know what a Class A baseball manager feels like, because, you know, in professional baseball, they get these kids, they're raw. I mean, and they have talent, but it takes a while to hone that talent and develop from a kid into a professional.
I come from the Lee Timmerman coaching tree, and I am so proud of that.
Everything that LT does comes from a place of just wanting everyone around him to be better and do their best.
From San Francisco to Omaha and Savannah and everywhere in between, local sports is covered the Lee Timmerman way, the right way.
LT is constantly striving to make everybody else around him better. He is always looking to teach young reporters and young anchors how to be better.
He's been a champion of the profession. He's had not only a great impact on local sports throughout North Dakota, but also an impact in the profession as well.
I think he takes a lot of pride in how a lot of these other young sportscasters have developed and move on to much larger markets and much bigger jobs.
LT and Amber never had kids of their own, but these young, ambitious sports reporters have become his kids.
We do keep in touch a lot, and I follow their lives, and it means a lot.
His wife's endless support also means a lot.
There are times of the year where she knew that she was not first in my life. Is that right? Probably not. But is that the dedication it takes to do the job at the level that I wanted to do it at? And I think the answer is yes. And so she knew when we did Bison football for a decade and a half, but end of August, see you later, see you after Frisco for a lot of those years, and that was into January. And so it takes a very, very special person, which she is, to sacrifice herself for me to be able to do that.
In his career, he's pointed his camera at some pretty big names, including Michael Jordan, Carson Wentz, and Virgil Hill.
He's my favorite guy. We just considered him one of us.
It's crazy, the people that I've come across. They would never remember me, I'll never forget them.
He'll also never forget the thousands of high school and college athletes he's covered. All of them just as important. And through his work here, LT has been able to showcase his passion for fishing. In 1997, he launched Pros Pointers. The best part about that series? The friendship he and Johnny Candle have formed.
Lee's perfectionism rubbed off on me. The work ethic definitely didn't hurt me. I can't speak enough about how important it is to have been working with Lee for 28 seasons, developing a friendship that's going to continue for much, much longer.
And to borrow a line from the former voice of LT's favorite baseball team, Twins announcer John Gordon would say, "You've touched them all, Lee Timmerman."
Wow.
Thank you, Jode.
You did a good job, Jody. That was awesome.
I have watched that a bazillion times, but it was so fun to watch that with you and get your commentary. So cool. And now I have even more stories about you. Talk about the headset.
Oh, I just said, did you ever notice on the headsets, the mic is on the right every time? I am like freakishly uncomfortable if a headset cannot go on the right side. I don't know why. It just is. It has to be on the right for me to feel comfortable. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I didn't notice it. So now I got to watch it 1,000,001 times and go see that the headset's on the right side every time. Michael Jordan, this was a great story that you told me, and I've known you since 1997, and I had no idea you interviewed Michael Jordan. And he says, well, you never asked.
That's an LT-ism right there.
So
right?
my opening line whenever I meet someone new is going to be, "Hi, I'm Jody. Have you ever interviewed Michael Jordan?" That's pretty cool. Were you like freaking out a little bit?
No. I was on a series about Phil Jackson by myself in Chicago. That whole story takes 45 minutes to tell it, and it just was one of those things. You just, hey, Mike, called him Mike.
No, you didn't.
Here's why I'm here to do a story on Phil Jackson from his home state, blah, blah, blah. You mind if I ask you a couple questions about Coach? He goes, yeah, that'd be cool. And so we had these little lav mics because I was by myself, and I start putting the lav mic on, and he kind of does this because
nobody does that.
And I swear to God, his shirt probably cost more than what I made in a year, but I just clipped it on, bang, let's go.
You didn't snag a sweater.
I hope not, no.
So cool. Okay, well, there's so much more. You and I sat down in the studio and had about a 45-minute conversation. Of course, we can't share all that on the air, but it is on YouTube. So,
is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to, I think it was a fascinating conversation.
Do you remember?
You said some really good stuff, and you told some really great stories about your career. Yeah. So that's on our YouTube channel. Go watch that. But in the meantime, stick around. We've got a lot more LT coming up.